This Friday, your favorite emotions are back on the big screen in Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
It's time to greet your Team Riley. It's anger.
Let me at him.
Fear.
Safety checklist is complete.
Disgust. Ew. Sadness is in the house.
Oh, no.
Hello, I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions.
Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2.
There's a part 2?
We're going!
Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked. ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every Bare Naked Lady song from 7 to Y. And I am hoping that you were in a national park this week when we were recording, because if you were, then you got to see an amazing light show from the Northern Lights. But we are not in a national park as we discuss this song, because I don't have portable recording.
The Wi-Fi would be pretty spotty.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is pretty horrible. And the national park is like 3 hours away, and yeah, it's just too far. So
yeah. I mean, I went to the Audubon for lunch, and that's as close as I came, I think.
That's a pretty good distance. Like, that's a pretty good
it's a compromise.
Yeah, that works. As you can hear, we have Betsy. Thank you for joining me, Betsy.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think both Heidi and Aaron took off to the national park, and that's why they're not with us.
They're away with the fairies.
Yeah. Oh, well. We get to talk about the song National Park. Next time they can be here, and we'll take off.
Yeah. Play hooky. Spend the podcast. Got a fun spot.
Oh, there we go. I like that idea. It's not a national park, but I like that better.
Yeah. Nope. That's okay.
If you have never heard National Park before, it is on Detour DeForce, and here is a brief snippet.
Far and away the time will slip. I'm so glad we went on that trip with all the others afraid of the dark, lying awake in the national park.
So we don't have either of our musician people to break this song down, so we're not going to do a breakdown.
I think it's a 1-5-4-2 chord progression. No, I don't know.
If it's Kevin, it's probably absolutely not. It's probably some like really complicated out there type thing.
Maybe. I mean, he has obviously the potential to do that, but if you want to be thematic, you'd probably go something simpler because nature's kind of simple. Although, yeah, we'll get into that later.
I don't know. Nature's pretty complicated.
Well, yes, that's the other school of thought.
I'm looking it up online, and I cannot find any guitar chords.
Are you looking up Is Nature Complicated?
I'm looking up that as well, yes. No, I'm looking up to see if there are guitar chords or piano chords for National Park, and there aren't any.
I have guitar tabs on my phone, but yeah, I don't know.
So no luck on that one either. Yeah. So hopefully one of our two professors will send us some stuff, and I can edit it in later. But in the meantime, what do you have down for thoughts about the music of this song?
I think it really puts you in the mood to go to a national park. It's very like soaring kind of feeling to it. As you almost feel like you're a bald eagle just kind of soaring over the treetops. It's very graceful, very peaceful, nice movement to it. And then when, I don't know if it's the bridge or whatever, but, they get the bass in there and it's all rumbly and everything. They're like, beauty in the darkness and everything. And it's quite beautiful. Although I do have a weird reference to make, of course, because I usually do. Have you seen Princess Mononoke at all?
I have.
You have? Okay. Do you remember the Kodamas? Remember those glow-in-the-one ones I put in Aaron's house? So introduction, which no, I guess it's not the introduction, but there's like a percussion part that starts at the very beginning of the song that I didn't really notice until I listened to it in my car. So I don't know if it's sort of weird audio fidelity or something in my car, but it sounded like if you were to take a rock and tap it on a piece of wood.
Yes.
And I'm like, that sounds so familiar. Like, what is that? And I'm like, I think that's the sound that Kodama's made in Princess Mononoke, the little elf, the wood spirits.
I think you're right.
But much slowed down. Like they were like, well, but then again, the clip I watched,
It was almost like they're talking.
they
Yeah.
overexcited. Yeah, so maybe that's how they talk in casual conversation. I don't know, but it was very. It reminded me a lot of that, which makes so much sense in a song about national parks and nature, and especially on point for Princess Mononoke. If it's it's kind of like a. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but my recollection is it's kind of like a Japanese Fern Gully almost.
I would even say it's better than a Fern Gully. Yeah,
it's definitely better than Fern Gully. I need to rewatch it. Actually, it's a beautiful movie.
Oh, and not only is it beautiful, but the story that it's telling, and I mean, it's very obvious what it's trying to tell you about nature and the way that we take over nature, but it's not beating you over the head with it either. And very much like this song.
Do you know when information is approached to me in that beating you over the head manner, I completely shut down and I don't listen to any of it. So if it's introduced in like a gentler way, that's kind of like has like a lot of beauty to it, I'm all in and you have my full attention. But if you're gonna lecture me about something, I'm not gonna listen to you. That's just kind of how I'm wired. And let's see. So this is the wood knocking.
And I
part.
had the wood blocks. Like the beat that he is using for those wood blocks is really cool.
I don't know if it's just like a really echoey, like if it's hollow on the inside or some sort of bamboo or something. I don't know if I've looked up a video to see like them perform it live or something. So you could kind of, no, it's not.
I've never seen them. I mean, I'm sure they have performed it live, but I have. Well, you know what? I haven't checked this in a long time.
Welcome to the internet.
I mean, I have not checked setlist.fm for a very long time, just because all the songs are so brand new that it didn't make a lot of sense to go over it so many times. But.
All right, so that wasn't a clip of him playing it, but it was like maybe you've seen it before. It was a clip of him explaining the kind of origin story of the song. Yeah, okay.
And as I was looking through there, they have not played this song live.
Why not? It's beautiful, especially when you get like the
song.
thundering. It's a great like Tyler's killing it on all like these different forms of percussion.
My guess is that it's hard because there are so many forms of percussion.
No.
And my other thought is they have a choice. Like, I'm sure that they're like, well, we can play one Kevin song from this album, and it's always going to be Internal Dynamo.
Kevin?
So I would personally...
No, really? See, I would say...
I would love to hear this
maybe
one.
I'm getting my songs mixed up here. I would say... blah, 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 Big Backyard.
So they're playing two off this album each time.
Because they did that whole background with the video in the back. I loved that song. Oh, not two. Tilt my hand.
Yeah, so they do Big Backyard and Internal Dynamo at almost of their concerts. This is the one that they don't do, which is it's too bad because it's a really cool song. I mean, you have to have your downtime, and I guess Man-Made Lake is kind of their downtime song on this album.
Song. Yes.
Well, you know what's good about that? Even though it's the next one that's in the order on the line, it's also next week's song.
Yay!
So we just get to go forward one song on the album for next week.
Nice. Well, I've been listening to it a lot lately then, because as soon as I listen to National Park, the Man-Made Lake would come on. But yeah.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps flowing.
Well, and you know what you'll never find in a national park?
Something you'll never find?
No, a Man-Made Lake.
Oh. I answered your B&L question with a B&L song.
Yeah, I know. I was going for the pun.
Oh, well, God damn it. Good job.
The other, I thought before when you were mentioning the wood blocks, I thought you were going to bring out the other thing, though. I can't tell if it's him playing keyboards or if it's a marimba at the very beginning of the song.
Either. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't. Play it again. Do you have a clip? Put you on the spot. I have to refresh my ear memory. Yeah, I'm sure our experts could tell us. Maybe we'll tag it in right here.
But it's gorgeous. It's really this cool trickling effect in the background. I love it.
Yeah, it's all just fits so well. It's just really well done.
And then, like, once they move away from that woodblock rhythm, he brings in this very African, very Paul Simon type beat.
Yeah.
With the heavy bass drum.
Of National Park.
And I absolutely love that he's got that in there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was bass drum or even like a timpani or something. It was very like beautifully like dramatic and like a lot of body to it, you know?
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Gorgeous. Yeah, that's right.
But it really gives that kind of feel that you're there. And I
close
wish
your
that
eyes and be transported away.
I hate that they only ever put down Tyler like drums and percussion. Like I want to know which percussion he is doing.
I mean, they really put a lot of work into all the bits and pieces of the percussion. So
yeah, I want to hear like.
Is that really all they put? I'll have to check.
Yeah, and they have Ed down as percussion on this album too, and I want to know like, okay, on which song was he doing?
Are you just doing like a cowbell? What are you doing?
Right, like break it down
but
for us.
he does play the drums, so it could be anything really.
Well, and he's also written down for drums on one of the songs. He's written down for drums on number 14, so on Peace Lady. Okay. Oh no, Internal Dynamo. He's doing drums on Internal Dynamo.
Tyler's singing.
But yeah, I want them to break down more and tell us more about like what they're each doing. I miss that from the old albums where they would like after each song list like this song we have this.
We want to know. Your rabid fans want. Your rabid fans who don't always score you nicely still want to know because we deserve to know. We are entitled.
Maybe it would make them think more about their music that they're picking and.
I didn't say it. You said it.
I did say it. I'm going to be banned from their concerts.
For your jugular. I know. This is why they don't come on.
Oh, they didn't come on long before when we were praising them nicely.
That's true. That's true.
The other thing I really wanted to point out is I love the piano that is in the, I guess you would call it the second bridge.
Second bridge? That's crazy.
So if we're gonna break down like what the structure of the song, I can do that much.
Lyrically, which part? Yeah. Like the
so
bourbon. I'm back in the city with the bourbon. Urban decay.
So we have verse 1, which is the far away and time will slip.
Right. That's the only thing I'm sure of.
Then we have verse 2, which is rhinoceros. We have verse 3, which is living in a
balance.
living in balance in the state of bliss. We have the chorus, literally like 6 words long total, just mostly repeating the national park.
2 of which repeat, yes.
Yeah. Then we're back to verse 4, which is Beauty in the Darkness. Back in the city on my way.
Oh.
But in between there, sorry, I'm going to back up. I messed that up. We have the chorus, and then we have this bridge. There's a change in the music for a Beauty in the Light and Beauty in the Darkness.
All the beauty in the light, the beauty in the darkness.
Then it goes back to verse 4, another chorus, and then it goes right into the outro, which is really just kind of a second bridge. But that outro has like the piano is trickling. And I guess Archipelago, is that what it's called when they do that?
I thought that was an island, maybe.
Maybe.
I
don't
Galapagos.
know. This is where I leave it to. I say the wrong thing, and my musicians say, "No, what you mean to say is this," and I'm like, "Yes, that."
Of course, that. Insert word here. Yep, that's the one.
And I need to change his background picture because it looks like I have a rhino growing out of my ear.
I don't know. It kind of suits you. It looks good.
Hey, Bert, what's that in your ear?
I'm going to stick a rhino in your ear. A rhino in my ear.
So musically, that's all I had. It seems to be very simple, but I'm sure that it's a lot less simple than I think it is.
Well, that's
but again,
because he does it so well.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
He's just a consummate musician.
Yes.
But let's talk about the lyrics of the song. That's where I prefer to go anyway. So this song was inspired by a trip that he took with Harlan Williams to a park in Africa. He was in a Jeep with a guide, and he saw a lone rhino in the middle of a field, and he took a picture of it. And after a few minutes, all these cars showed up to see the rhino, and it surrounded the rhino, and it almost felt like Disney World to him. You know, he's this magical, beautiful creature, and then it was just surrounded by civilization. And he says it was really sad to just not be able to see it, just be wild and free and not bothered. You know. And that's where the lines about nature being like an exhibition came from. And I think that's a really great way of putting this song. Like, to me, that wasn't what the line came across as when he said that, like, about the exhibition in the national park. Like, I understand where he's coming from with that line now, but, you know, growing up for years on Joni Mitchell, like, to me, that line very much was, you know, Big Yellow Taxi-ish.
Yeah.
With like, yeah, we here's nature and we're going to take it and put it inside a museum.
Right.
Which is just sad.
It's like those little, have you seen those little turtles that they sell that are in like a solution in a necklace? You can just buy them wherever, somewhere, I don't remember where, somewhere in like general Asia, I think it is. But yeah, that's like, it's super sad that we want to appreciate nature, but on our terms, that's convenient for us. So
I like zoos, but at the same time, I always get sad when I go to zoos.
Yeah, exactly. I have strongly mixed feelings because I want to take my daughter and show her everything like an actual creature that truly exists versus, a book or a show. But I mean, that's a totally artificial environment. They do the best they can, I'm sure, to replicate the environment, but they only have so much space, and it's captive. It doesn't have a choice. So yeah.
And then you hear the people being like, "Why can't we see it? Why won't it come out?" It's doing its best to hide from you because that's what it wants to do.
Yeah, it doesn't want any part of you.
And I get that it's great to see it, but that's not nature. And that's the other thing with the whole point of that national park and crowding around these rhinos that there's so few of left in the world. Of course we want to see them, but in doing so, it's no longer just living its life.
Right. It doesn't want to see us.
No.
It's kind of a one-sided relationship.
It's kind of it's a little sad that when I see a video of people going to try to see rhinos and elephants and stuff, and they fight back, and I'm cheering for the animal.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally normal. You should.
People are like, "Oh my gosh, did you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was great."
It's weird. It's like it's a wild animal that's reacting normally.
So, but I really like that. I mean, the song is really Kevin doing what Kevin always does, which is he has this Paul McCartney moment of, brushing his teeth in the bathroom and decides to write a song about it. This one's a little bit more poignant than that.
Definitely.
There are
I don't get too emotional about brushing my teeth unless, it's like oh man, gingivitis. That really sucks. I don't know.
Even then, I don't get emotional.
Just generally, I don't get too emotional.
Now I got that Whitney Houston song going through my head.
I get so emotional, baby.
I'm glad you did it and I didn't have to.
Hey.
But I really
karaoke it up.
We could have this as a poem, and I would still read this. It is a beautiful poem. I would almost love to have this as a book, like a children's book.
Yeah, it would make a great children's book.
Kevin, you're hearing this. You need to go out and make this into a children's book.
You can do it. You and Harlan.
Great way to teach the kids about nature.
Yeah, and then read it like the style of like that Scottish lady does for like the Wonky Donkey on YouTube. Or was it Wonky Donkey, or there was another one? So yeah, you make your children's book and then you read it on YouTube and then add all the character and nuances to it, and then bam. Then all the proceeds go to the national park. Yay.
I love it. There we go. And making the national park bigger.
Yeah.
So
Bigger.
the animals can hide
More
from
natural. Yes. That's right.
I mean, he didn't go all political with this song. He didn't go, "Oh yeah, they're selling the ivory, they're killing all of them." Like he kept it very, very laid back.
The rhinoceros ivory.
Yeah, the rhinoceros ivory. Well, they get the horns, and isn't that ivory?
Do they harvest the rhinoceros horns? Oh, I'm sure it's like an aphrodisiac somewhere.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my god! Everything is that they cut off, they lop off part of an animal as a fucking aphrodisiac. Yeah, like nothing gets me hotter than like bits and pieces of endangered species. You assholes! What are you thinking? Because it does the opposite.
It's a bone, and it has all these wonderful minerals in it, I guess.
It's a bone for your bone. Whoops, I took us to an inappropriate place.
Of course it did. Thank you, Kevin. You always do. It's Kevin's fault.
It is totally rests squarely on his shoulders.
I think the most beautiful part of the song is the outro, though.
It is. The outro is really pretty, but I like it when he says it one time each. So like all the beauty in the light and the beauty in the darkness. That's my favorite line because to me it's like beauty in the things that you can see and that you can't see, like the good and the bad. So that was my favorite line. But yeah, he does a good job at like repeating the line without making it feel repetitive, because the music is there to kind of move it along. So it's really pretty that way. Yeah.
And I like how it fades out toward the end. I really argued a lot with myself this week that there was...
I want video of that. I want a split screen Tracy arguing with another Tracy.
That is like normal for me.
Yes. Internal
I'm
dialogue.
always arguing with myself about something. This week it was just the song. I like the outro and how it slowly fades and how we have these great piano lines and the crescendos and then the ebbs and flows of it all, and it feels very natural. But on the other side of it, there's that whole verse beforehand where he's going back to the city, and there's this very natural feel to the song before that, and then it changes and becomes a little bit more mechanical and loud and a little almost overwhelming, but not quite, almost like a wall of sound. And I'm like, when he says that he goes back there in dreams, there were times that there was this part of me that wanted it to be like, no, I want them at that point for the music to go back to this natural type landscape feel of the background.
Yeah, it doesn't stay there for long.
No.
But, yeah.
But then we wouldn't get all of that wonderful outro stuff, and I'm like, but I really like that too.
Yeah.
So I was very divided on that.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, the change of scenery is a nice way to break up the song, but does it detract from the song? No, I mean, I'm just trying to think, like, it's a nice way to kind of put things in perspective, maybe. So, and I like
That's
it, but
what I
it's
liked
just,
about it.
it's not my favorite part, but because I really like the focus of the song, but that is a nice way to kind of fill it out a little.
Here's the line that got me, and I'm like, wait, that just doesn't feel right. A shot of bourbon in urban decay. I like it. It's poetic.
Yeah.
I can't see Kevin drinking bourbon.
Something to relax you, because you're in maybe something else to relax you. Whatever you take to relax you. Because you're not where you want to be. And you got some sort of coping skill to be in the place where you're kind of at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting back into the unnatural.
Because you can't live in the natural park as much as you want to.
Right.
But
no, it's a really beautiful song, and it really makes you think a lot. And I like it. There is one thing I would change about the song, though.
Yes. What's the trouble with Tracy?
The trouble with Tracy is the first couple seconds of the song. And it's more from an album point of view than anything else. We have 4 songs on this album that have this really quiet and slow beginning, which I just don't think works on an alternative rock album. It works.
And it comes right after Paul Chambers too. So
right. It works at times, but I think it works perfectly on Internal Dynamo, and I don't think that it necessarily works programmatically with this song. So I would get rid of like the first 5 seconds of the song here if I were the mixer, and just like go right into this song because it's beautiful by itself.
If I were the mixer, if I was Sir Mix-a-Lot, Lady Mix-a-Lot, I think I might open it with the timpani even. Ooh. Because that would catch your attention a little. And it's going to be used throughout the song.
Oh, I love that idea.
Or you could remix it with Lion King. Ay, Pena, we get your attention. Listen to the rest of the song.
Well, what should we rank this? How many rhinoceroses?
Yeah. Is that the plural? Is rhinoceroses?
Plural.
I want a rhinoceros for Christmas.
We never see a lot of them at once, so I don't know.
How many rhinos?
Okay, yeah, we could go with that. That's the easy one.
No, okay, I'll
plural of
struggle.
rhinoceros. Plural of rhinoceros can be rhinoceros, rhinoceroses, or rhinoceri. Can be any of the three.
Rhinoceros, Okay, you go first.
How many rhinoceri do you give this song?
No, I asked you first.
Oh, I gotta go first. I never got to go first.
I don't like going first.
Oh, this is a hard one because I like it, but it's not one that I seek out on a regular basis. It's really cool. I'll probably have to come back and rank this one again overall, but I would never change away from this song. It is a really cool, just kind of chill song. Matter of fact, this is one that I would love to add to my, going to sleep at night music, not because it's like boring, but because it's really chill and puts me in a good space. I'm going to give this a 4.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, so I don't technically seek this out, but that really isn't a threshold for me anymore. It's more like, how do I feel when I hear it? So for me, I feel, other than the twinge of it sucks that there's these endangered creatures, that it's beautifully done. I mean, I really wouldn't do much to change it because he's really kind of mastered like the flow of things, and he's kept the lyrics pretty simple, but engaging. So I think overall, I would give this a 4.1.
4.1. Excellent.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Put that in. That averages it to a 4.05.
Well, yes.
Did that in my head.
I did that in my head as well. I do math every day.
So that's pretty good. Hopefully we'll hear back from the other two about what they think later on this year. But for next week, we're going to discuss an Ed song that's also very much about nature. Kind of? Sort of?
It's all natural.
There's a lot of nature on this album.
Yeah. Boy, they've been hanging out at the lake house a lot, eh? I would too.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's my favorite place, lake house. Always there. I would love to be.
Holy cow! I didn't realize how many songs were about nature on this album.
And it's an unnaturally huge amount. Let's see. We got
Big Backyard. We've got Flat Earth, kind of. We got National Park. We got Man-Made Lake. And we got Internal Dynamo, which is really about the moon. So that's kind of nature.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thank you for joining me tonight, Betsy.
Yeah, man. It was my natural choice to come on tonight.
It's natural to talk every week about BNL.
Natural. Yes, exactly. It's unnatural to skip it.
There we go. We'll go with that. Well, thanks. That was fun.
Thanks. That was fun. We'll catch you next time for Man-Made Lake.
The dark